Democratic data analyst David Shor, who I think's pretty smart, very smart, he did an analysis of Democratic messaging and found that anti-Trump Lincoln Project type ads, they're way less effective on regular voters that Dems need than positive economic majoritarian visions of what they're going to do, laying out their vision, he explains.
The other are ad tests, which kind of are various attacks against Donald Trump. And basically what you can see, is that talking about concrete issues that Democrats support on average does about 3 to 4 times better than attacks on Donald Trump. This is like kind of the story of this election, is that attacks on Donald Trump are very ineffective. People generally have pretty fixed views on Trump, but telling people the Democrats want to expand Social Security or that they want to hire more teachers still does move people and is a substantially better use of time than attacking Trump. Talking about impeachment or talking about immigration tends to cause backlash or not cause much of an effect. But there are but talking about mental health or Social Security expansion or other economic issues tends to do pretty well.
All right, so can we put this to rest? I can't have this conversation about the Lincoln Project anymore, even though dunking on them is very funny, as they are basically a grifting operation that takes money of people who are gullible and they spend it on swanky hotels and they have dubious funding, and they're all anti-Trump Republicans, but from the Bush war criminal era. So they're shameless in their own right. It's not worth it to have these guys on our side because they're not even bringing in new people. The data is showing that is factually accurate. They're kind of dunking on Trump. It only makes libs feel good about themselves. It's easy to trick establishment types into thinking that the Lincoln Project is effective because they don't understand voters. And they think that whatever appeals to the establishment appeals to voters, which we all know is not true. That's why Trump won in 2016. That's why Bernie Sanders has popularity and populist messaging works. So the Lincoln Project doesn't win over anybody that we need, anybody. And what it does is it allows ex-Bush officials, people who agree with the Republican agenda, into the crowd of people trying to get Biden elected. And that has consequences that could reverberate in terms of policy, which is the number one thing I care about. Whether they say so straightforwardly or not, the conservatives of the Lincoln Project will not generally be supportive of progressive policy. And this has troubled some who speculate that the group and the broader never-Trump camp of moderate Republicans could hold political sway post-election. If Biden wins, organizations like the Lincoln Project will have newfound influence and options, Columbia political analyst Lincoln Mitchell, his name's Lincoln, recently wrote for CNN. They will be well positioned to a conservative counter to the progressives who would like to see a President Biden tack left once elected. The Lincoln Project's critics on the left are correct about the GOP. The Republican Party is a purely malignant force in American politics and American life. It has no positive contributions to make. Its major policies are not supported by the majority of the American public, and it would not be as powerful or as radical as it is were it not for the advantages the design of the federal government grants to conservatives. Those advantages left in place will prevent Democrats from meaningfully addressing our most significant problems as a country and society, including an environmental crisis that threatens all civilization. Much of what ails us cannot be fixed without structurally disempowering the GOP as an institution. Its incapacitation is the only plausible and morally defensible remedy to polarization and partisan gridlock we have. That's a great piece in the New Republic, but they ultimately conclude that the Lincoln Project, while it is some sort of problem and never Trump moderate Republicans is a problem, the bigger problem is that Biden, Obama were so conciliatory towards Republicans, included them in administrative decisions, had moderates, Republicans in the administration, all of those things. Biden had once said that he might consider having a Republican as his running mate early in the primary. So that is Biden's inclination, yes. But I guess I kind of disagree with the conclusion. The political dynamics have changed, and I think Biden has to understand that a little bit. Biden is always going to want to bring Republicans into the fold. That is his nature. That is his nature. But why kick in the door for them? And that's what the Lincoln Project does. And it doesn't bring new people in. It just makes libs who watch cable news and ingest anything about Trump and viscerally hate him, and it's this emotional reaction. And obviously I hate Trump too, and I want to see him lose bigly in November. I get that. But there's a different response from the kind of people that love these Lincoln Project ads. It's like carnal. It's so emotional when they're talking about Trump, as opposed to like, these are the policies why I disagree with Trump, and I don't care how orange he is, you know? So that's what these ad campaigns appeal to. And making you feel like it appeals to independent voters or brings new people into the Democratic camp, I think that that's dangerous in and of itself, because it ensures that policy messaging, which is proven by this to be more effective, takes a backseat to just dunking on the dude. And I think that has long-term ramifications for the health of the progressive movement and for what is incentivized in the Democratic Party. And so that's why I'm diligent about the Lincoln Project and why I can't stand them.